It's Movie Time is produced by John DeSando. Listen to shows and read reviews online at wcbe.org.
I'm John DeSando.
And I'm Kevin Carr.
And this is It's Movie Time.
It is.
Now, Kevin, I look up all the time.
You do?
But is there an exhortation, don't look up?
There is.
Would that be a movie?
Yes, and there's even a hashtag for it, which is Don't Look Up Film. So don't look that up. Don't look up the film online.
Kev, how does that title relate to the film we're talking about today?
Well, the film Don't Look Up is the latest movie from Netflix, directed by Adam McKay. It's about these astronomers who find a comet is on a collision course with Earth, and they're trying to convince everybody, and of course it becomes highly politicized for no reason whatsoever. And people start saying, well, don't look up, as a, then just look up. It becomes a fight of whether or not you're even going to see it with your own two eyes.
I thought it so well encompasses all of the denial stuff in the film.
Yeah.
I mean, the film's about, you want to deny something, it's in this film, somewhere.
Yeah. Well, and they wrote the film and were in pre-production before the pandemic.
My gosh, I didn't realize that.
Ultimately, it started out as an allegory for climate change. The whole, well, here's evidence coming, and you need to look at this and listen to the scientists, not the politicians. And then the pandemic hit, and life started to mirror the absurdity that's in the script. And there's literally things that are happening in the script that they were shooting things when very similar things were happening literally down the road. It's alarming how prescient this film is.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And I was thinking the other day, were they in time for the denial about the presidential election?
When, actually, there's a scene in there where there's violence in the street.
Yes.
That they were actually shooting on January 6th.
Oh,
so,
my God.
I mean, it's alarming when you hear some of the stories about how similar these things were, and things that they said, oh, well, we can't put that in the movie because that's just too absurd. And it turns out that it actually happens.
Well, some other Adam McKay movies to get an idea of how he handles this satire. One I'm thinking of is Anchorman.
Yeah.
Which is even...
Well, he did his broad comedies, Anchorman, Step Brothers, Talladega Nights, a lot of stuff.
Talladega Nights, right, yeah.
But more of his stuff with, like, his more political stuff like Vice, or the big...
Excuse me, bless you.
Vice or The Big Short, which was a movie about the financial crisis.
Yes.
And that shows him being able to sort of encompass these very broad political and serious elements, but make them relatable and funny.
Yeah, one of the characteristics of this movie, it seems in some ways, less goofy than the others. And I guess maybe because I'm missing a lot of punchlines. I don't get as many punchlines as I think I usually get in his films.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not that on-the-nose comedy that obviously like Anchorman goes for the punchlines.
Yes, it does, yeah.
But this one is more, it's more situational.
Yeah.
And people's reaction where you find yourself rolling your eyes or you're laughing. I mean, there are some characters, like Meryl Streep plays the president.
Yes.
And she's trying to spin everything and politicize everything, and Jonah Hill plays her son, who happens to be her chief of staff.
What was somebody suggesting? A little Oedipal action going on there.
Yeah, and Jonah Hill, he's come out and said, there is a certain political character that he was emulating, we'll say, but those characters are most absurd. They're the ones that I think get the most big laughs, because of the things they say are the most, in terms of that broad comedy, they're the most out there. But even the smaller, so the reactions that Jennifer Lawrence or Leonardo DiCaprio have, who are the scientists. Yes. They're trying to explain this. Like, there's one sign where this guy says to him, go on tell people about this, but don't use math. And he's like, it's all math.
He says, people, it is coming. We have the data. Yeah. And the echoes of COVID and all that, you could just hear it.
Yeah.
And I thought one of Streep's best moments was when she says, when she suggests that they delay it because of the midterm elections. Yeah. Here we are, we're a year away, and boy, does that resonate.
Oh yeah, yeah. Just when is it happening, and when is it good for our side? Yeah. And it also takes a lot of shots at the media. In particular, the media that either downplays things or doesn't want to talk about serious things. Boy. They have a whole, which I normally am not a huge Tyler Perry fan, but Tyler Perry and Cate Blanchett as the hosts of this vapid morning news show.
Yes.
They're hilarious because they're spot on.
I agree.
And he's worried about, is my ex-wife's house going to get hit by the comet? No, everybody's going to be hit by the comet.
Yes. And Cate Blanchett is just, icy. Just manipulative. She is.
But she's a genius.
Yes.
That's the whole thing. She just doesn't care. She's a sociopath.
I know. So she, we can reveal some stuff, but she has an affair with Leo DiCaprio, with his character, the astronomer, who's suddenly sent into the world, so
thrust into the spotlight.
I know, right? And it is very funny when you think of what a renowned star he is, and how he eventually becomes that in the movie, which is really, I think, a kind of cute turn. And
I like the fact both he and Jennifer Lawrence play off each other really well. He doesn't steal it.
No, he definitely doesn't.
He's very generous in that, and with somebody like DiCaprio, you don't necessarily expect that.
I totally agree. I was thinking that even for her, it's really low key. The two of them, I don't know if McKay, he must have had them do this, but they did underplay it, which accentuates everybody else's goofiness. I just love it as he tries to explain. It is, this comet is coming, it's going to destroy the whole Earth. The thing is the size of Mount Everest.
Yeah. Well, they're like, well, it's a 90%, it's a 98% chance. Well, let's call it a 70%. Well, you can't. And then they're hedging on actual data and.
That is right. They were 100% sure. So they nail them down to 98 point something.
Yeah, because nothing's ever 100%.
Right.
That's actual science. That's
that gives them purchase on this whole thing, so that they can send it back either to 70% or wherever they want, because it's not 100%.
Oh yeah.
And I just love the way that they interpret that. Leo is nominated, I think, for Golden Globe for this.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, it's not. I mean, I'm going to say it's not his best performance, but that's because the role doesn't require that. Same thing with Jennifer Lawrence. Yeah. I mean, this is not her best performance because it doesn't require as much from them. I mean, if you want to talk about nailing the parts, they did. Same thing with Jonah Hill. Jonah Hill's hilarious in this.
Yes, he's so good.
But I don't know if I'd call it the best thing he's done.
No, right.
It's tough. It's one of the better comedies of the year.
Yes, for sure.
But
and it's maybe the 10th time we've seen Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah, I'm not a Chalamet.
I'm not either.
So I kind of roll my eyes when he shows up.
I know.
I mean, I like Jennifer Lawrence quite a bit, but yeah, Timothy Chalamet, he's in it. Don't worry, he's not in it that much.
But Kev, when I saw the film, I liked very much The Hand of God. Yeah. They had the young man who plays the director is a twin to Chalamet.
Oh yeah.
And I'm going, this guy is either here or he's in spirit, but the kid has.
They managed to get him in another movie just by a look-alike.
Oh my gosh, I know it. So what's the weakness of the film, Kev?
Oh well, I mean, it does run a bit long. If you're going to say that, if you're going to pull out some criticism, it does run a bit long. If you don't know what you're getting into, it takes a little bit of time to acclimate yourself.
Okay.
Because I went in knowing nothing. I mean, I knew what it was about. It was about a comet. But we get these end-of-the-world apocalyptic movies every 10 years or so.
Sure.
You had, 10 years ago, you had stuff like Melancholia and Seeking a Friend for the End of the World, and then 15 years before that, you had Armageddon and
good ones.
And Deep Impact.
Good.
So, yeah, this is a cyclical thing. But I didn't know it was that. I didn't know what kind of comedy it was. So it took me, I'd say a good half hour to be like, oh, okay, this is the tone. And I've seen it a couple times. So the second watch actually moves much smoother.
Yeah.
And it does have and like you said, the jokes don't necessarily land on your nose.
No, I know, right.
I wouldn't even call them jokes. It's just, it's sort of like, just presenting something and throwing your hands up and saying, this is the truth. And unfortunately, it's absurd and silly.
So what would you recommend to our audience?
Definitely watch it.
Yeah.
Definitely watch it, and watch it, you know what, I don't care whether your pet issue is climate change or COVID or whatever,
right.
but watch it in relation to how the media, and I say the media as in the broad media, all the way from hard journalists to absolute garbage, reacts to things, and how politicians and social media and these controllers try to spin it, which we're in no better shape than we were in the 90s before social media.
And to kind of just add to what you're saying, don't expect belly laughs.
Yeah.
I think you've suggested that they're not right on the nose for every one of them, so you just got to sit back and kind of enjoy it. I think you can, because we're all so steeped in this whole denial business, actually sit back and enjoy it. It's Netflix too.
Yeah, it's Netflix. And wait, watch till the end. There's something at the end credits.
Yes.